Hey guys, today I'm going to take you guys through 5 things to consider when choosing a country to go play pro football. So, first, number one is the visa regulations. First of all, you need to make sure that you are able to get the visa into that country. How is it for you to get the visa into that country? And then when you go into that country, is it easy for you to extend the visa when you need to extend it when you overstayed? And also, for example, countries like in the UK right now, however much you can get a visa to go there, as they have rules in place for workers or for athletes. Like it is close to impossible. If you are just someone starting your career, you can go to the UK, you can go there, but you can get work. You will not be granted work permit because first the new rules they have to say you have to have played certain number of games for your senior national team or the youth national team, and there is a lot of restrictions on giving you the work permit. So UK is not the place for you to choose. Probably in Asia it would be easier for you to go to Asia or other countries within Schengen. It would be easy to go, but then you need to also determine, depending on your passport that you have, how easy is it for you to get the visa into that country. And number two, football rules in that country. Different countries have different rules. There are some countries that that allow players to sign outside the transfer window. Some countries only allow players to sign players during the summer transfer window and the winter transfer window. And also other rules is the foreign quota rules in some countries. In Asia, there are allowed 3 foreigners in each team. So you also need to consider that are you in the position to be able to play in those 3 sports, because obviously the competition is high and most of them are run by agents who have already done businesses with the club. So if you're someone just starting up, it would be very difficult for you there. So Europe, in that sense, Europe is more preferable because in Europe is quite diverse. But then again, in that sense that the club wants to take you in, then the visa process becomes very difficult for the club. So you also need to consider that as well. And for another country is UAE. In UAE, there are actually that I told in the previous video. I said that this third tier can be purely foreign players in the team and only maybe 2 or 3 local players in the team, and they don't necessarily need to start the game or to even play. They just need to be in the team roster. So you need to consider that. Number three, connections. When you want to go to a country, you definitely need to make sure that you have some sorts of connection there. So when you go, you are not stranded, you're not starting from scratch. Obviously, the connections, you make them while you're still in your country. You need to speak to these people. Hey, what are the chances that you will be able to help me get a trial when I come into the country? What are the things that I need to know before I come to the country? And these people who are on ground, they will help you to integrate into the team, into the new country. Probably they have to accommodate you, because when you just come in, you don't know anywhere. They have to accommodate you, move you around to clubs and all that. So you need to consider that as well. Make your connections before you go anywhere, and try to make sure that you're going to a country where you have stronger connections. Number four is the living costs. You need to make sure that your budget, obviously you've been saving up for the last 2 years or so. Now you need to make sure that the country that you are going to will be favorable for your budget, because there are some countries that are really expensive. For example, Singapore. If you go to Singapore, if you can manage to live there for a month, that means you're like very wealthy. And there are some countries, for example, in Thailand, Laos, $1,000 can take you a long, long, long way. Can take you for a couple of months. And obviously, when you go into a country, it's not so granted that the first time you go there, the first few months or weeks, you're going to get a team. So you'll have to stay by yourself, transport yourself around the city to go for trials. Um, Also, make sure that you are renting, so you have to pay for that, unless your connection is giving you a place to stay in, like a room or something, and then you also need to have extra money. I did that before, but I never had money because I never saved up and I never had money. But I did it anyway. But I am trying to let you guys know from my own experience that you will need to have money when you go into a certain country, because it's just crazy if you're there without money. And this is one of the reasons why I underperform in a lot of trusts, because I never had money, so I wasn't eating right. I was struggling to get into the place, like transportation wise and all these kind of things. So you need really to make sure that you're saved enough, and then see how much do I need to spend in a country. Is, let's say, if I'm going to put the worst case scenario, you're going to stay 3 months without getting a team. Can the money you have sustain you in that country. And rule number 5 is players development. Is this country that you want to go to, do they favor the young, let's say for example a young player between 18 to 23, do these people like have your best interest at heart to develop you and probably sell in the future? It is a very uncommon thing in Asia. They don't really develop players, they only develop the local players because that's what they do. The foreign players that come in, they obviously want you to be a ready player, and a ready player, you have to give, like, you have to be always at the top performance throughout the time. So Asia is not the best for you in that case. Europe is the best for you, because in Europe, if they see potential, someone would want to let you develop for 1-2 years, give you special treatment. I mean, like, just work on your weaknesses. So it is very difficult in that sense. Make sure you go to a country where people are going to develop you, or for example, if you come into Europe and the coach already knows about you, it would be a very good thing, because this coach will pay a lot of emphasis on you to make sure that you develop and you become a player that he thinks you can be, and then from there you go upward. And yeah, so guys, these are just the 5 things that I would want to consider if I was still back in Africa and I never did what I did. These are the 5 things I would have really considered before trying to go choosing a country that I wanted to go to. And I will tell you, one of them applied to me, visa regulations. That's why I chose Thailand. I wanted to come to Spain, but at the time I couldn't come to Spain because I was denied a Spanish visa. So Thailand was easy. It gave me a visa, like, it was a lot of ease. It was cheap, and there was a lot of bureaucracy in it. So it was easy for me to go to Thailand. I had a few connections there, but the living costs I never thought. And I thought they would care about my development. When I went there, it was very different. So these are the things. So clearly you can see that no country is better than the other, or no continent is better than the other in terms of what to choose. It just has to go with you as a player. What do you want for yourself, because some rules are better in other countries, and in other countries they don't favor you there. For example, German, they pay a lot of emphasis on the young player development, but the visa regulations there are very complicated if they are not top teams, like, because a lot of bureaucracy and everything. Unless it's a top team in the professional ranks, yes, they can do that. But if you're going to start in the semi-pro or amateur level, it would be very difficult, And player development is what we all need, because you need to make sure that somebody is looking after you, and then see, like, has your best interest, that they want to place you as an asset, so that one day when you go up, they get something in you. So yeah, guys, these are the 5 things, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Until then, ciao.